we've explained now that we are able to fulfill another person's obligation through the din of arvut, through the idea that we're all connected, therefore I can fulfill your obligation. Now what about a minor? What about a katan, a minor that's not yet at the age of bar mitzvah? Can he fulfill his parents' obligation when it comes to Kiddush? So now in theory, it would just become a matching game. What do I mean? We've explained already that Kiddush is from Torah. It's a biblical mitzvah. If you prayed Arvit already, some would argue that now your Kiddush only becomes midarabanan because you fulfilled the Torah obligation in a tefillah. So does that mean that if I prayed Arvit, so I fulfilled my obligation, I'm only obligated in Kiddush midarabanan, rabbinically, that a minor, a katan, can come and do Kiddush for you and fulfill your obligation? Why would that make sense? Because the minor is we assume it's obligated himself Kiddush midarabanan. Your obligation is only midarabanan. It's a matching game, they should work. So the halacha is as follows, that this concept, this idea in logic makes sense, but is not true halacha. Why? Because you have to understand why the minor is obligated in any mitzvot. A katan, any minor, not just Kiddush. A katan is chayav mitzvot midarabanan, rabbinically, but it's not an obligation on the minor. The obligation is on the father, on the parents, to educate their child in the way of the Torah. There's a mitzvah of chinuch, mitzvah of educating the children, to make sure you keep the mitzvot and the Torah mitzvot properly. Whether it's putting on tefillin, keeping kashrut, keeping Shabbat, saying Kiddush is one of them. So therefore, the child himself doesn't really have any mitzvah midarabanan. Instead, it's a mitzvah on the father to educate his child. So for that reason, the halacha explains that in a scenario where you have a minor and you have an adult, even if the adult prayed Arvit and fulfilled his obligation of Kiddush from the Torah, nevertheless the minor still cannot fulfill the father's obligation because it's not the same level, quote unquote, of derabanan. It's a separate element. The minor's obligation rabbinically isn't equal to the father's obligation rabbinically. So, and what happens if you're in a scenario that the husband's out of town, the woman can't say it, doesn't know how to say it, and they only have a minor that is educated properly and can say it? Halakha would actually say that the son should say it, but the wife should repeat word by word with the son so she can fulfill the obligation of Kiddush also. To that extent, halakha explains that the minor cannot fulfill the gadol, the parent's obligation. Now, very quick, what about someone who becomes bar mitzvah on that Friday night? So it's then he would be permitted, obviously, to make Kiddush for his family on condition that Shabbat actually began. For example, let's say a boy becomes 13 in a day in the summer, and we accept Shabbat early. So we started Shabbat early from Plaga Mincha, but the boy didn't become 13 years yet. He didn't become bar mitzvah yet. So in that scenario, they should wait until it's sunset or until Tzedek Chavim, so for it to be a new day, and then the son can make the Kiddush for his parents on his 13th birthday as well. Have a wonderful day.